Welcome to Let's Go Live. I'm Gigi Meyer, and I have with me romance and fiction author Amber Paige and that new beautiful debut novel, Symbol of Hope.
There we go. I'm just trying to set my phone up a little so I don't have to hold it the whole time. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, congratulations. The reviews have been coming in.
Yeah.
Stunning. I mean, you have the cover is stunning. The
Yeah.
reviews are beautiful. So how do you feel now that it's
I'm kind of relaxing now. It has been a whirlwind, in the beginning days when you first launch, you're like, oh, I got to keep checking Goodreads and Amazon, make sure everything's up and,
Yep.
track the reviews obsessively.
Obsessively.
Obsessive. Yeah. So I've been kind of chilling out. Things are calming down and it's nice. Just kind of enjoying the ride and seeing where it goes.
Well, I was going to say, that is your debut novel, and you've had,
Yeah.
I think, an amazing turnout. How do you feel about it?
It's shocking. It's shocking. Like, I think back to, last Tuesday when it debuted, all the support and the attention, I didn't know what to do with it or how to handle it. I was like, I think, the introvert was like, I need a social recharge from this. Even still, I had my first fan art today and my mind was blown. I was like, it's so exciting and it's just been so wonderful. It has its moments, but it's been pretty positive so far.
Okay, fan art. Like, I love it. There's so many compliments writers can get. Some of the best ones to me are when your reader, and it can just be one reader, is in the story with you and they're on the journey, they're invested, they're exactly where you intended to take them. And I'm like, oh,
yeah.
But fan art is a whole nother level. Have you posted it? Are you going to post it? Do you have permission to?
I can ask her. She tagged me in a reel, and I saw the tagline and I was like, what is this? I saw it at work. My jaw dropped. She described the scene and I was like, yeah, I don't blame you.
And you're kind of like, oh, don't cry work.
Oh, okay.
Don't cry work.
Yeah, exactly. But I absolutely adore when readers reach out to me, like, and expressing like a scene that happened in there, like how they're feeling. And I get to kind of like fangirl with them.
Yes.
So I've really been enjoying when people reach out, because it it's like a little light in the tunnel.
Well, because as authors, we work tirelessly for months. It's grueling. And you write your first draft, then you edit and you rewrite, and then you send it out to betas and you do all these activities and you're like, did I get it right?
Yeah.
So even when you hit like publish on the button, you're still like full of anxiety. Like, did I get it right? Will people like it? Will I get 1-star reviews? Will I get 5-star? Yeah, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's just up in the air. Like, you can only get it so far. And then it's just like, okay, you just hand it off.
I can't remember what author said, but she said, when I hit publish, it's no longer mine. It belongs to the world. And I was like, oh, that is a great way to think about it.
Yeah, it really is. It's, it's a very deep thought,
Exactly.
But it's very accurate.
Okay, so for other authors that watch this, you've had like I said, a tremendous response, super positive. What do you think you did right? What are some takeaways or some, guidance that you can share to other authors? Because it's grueling, it's competitive, it's hard to stand out.
Yeah, it really is. Honestly, just be you. In your writing, don't fake it till you make it. You want to pour, part of yourself into it. With my team, I pulled, my arc readers, they were all fantastic. I knew a lot of them just from the Bookstagram community. I will say a lot of my fumbling was with the editing process, like that in itself, like, it was dark. It was a dark time. So for that,
Amber,
tons of research.
all of us. I talked to an author author, and she's like, oh my gosh, my favorite part is rewrites and editing. I thought, you're a special kind of June bug.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really happy for you, but um, you know, I it's just, it's hit or miss, just go with the ride and enjoy it. You're gonna have these really high highs and then your lows are gonna be low. So just go with it and don't regret anything if possible.
Okay, so you had said your team, and so I know that our team beta readers, the whole process can be a little bit daunting. So did your ARC team include people that you knew, like friends and family, or did you do a post and have folks sign up on like?
I did a post. Yeah, I did a post. I didn't really have any friends and none of my friends and family were on the ARC team. I'm in a lot of like engagement groups and comment pods, so we're able to form connections that way.
Mhm.
And there were people I was like, I would reach out to them and just be like, hey, I'm kind of a baby author. Do you want to take a chance with me? And they were all for it. So I really felt like I built this like community, and it's just everyone was so supportive and so understanding. I really think I got lucky. um, but it's just, it takes patience. You post what you post and you just see what happens, and you get what you just get what you get.
Amber, I think you're so sweet, but you're very humble. I think luck is maybe a fraction of
Yeah,
it, but I really feel like it's you, it's your efforts, it's writing like a really well quality book that people love, a story that resonates with people and they do want to share because it's so good. You're just like, oh my gosh, have you read? Yeah, Symbol of Hope. And
yeah.
so,
I don't know how to deal with it,
pat
honestly.
on the back to you, my friend.
Thank you.
So I have to ask on the arc, which I know a lot of authors struggle with because I think it's tough to put your work out there for people to criticize. It's
Mhm.
hard to get those reviews back, and hopefully your arc team are going to be a little bit more friendly. And if it is
Mhm.
a one or two, they just quietly don't post, or they'll just reach out
Yeah.
and say, "Hey, I was a do not finish," or whatever the case may be, right? But how far in advance did you have to start building your community, with your art team and, kind of massaging and building that community before your release?
Yeah. Yeah. So I got antsy and excited and I didn't know the timeline. So I believe I started building it in February for ARCs to be sent out in the middle of April.
Okay,
Um,
so you started 3 months before release
yes.
because your release was the 23rd
Yes. Yes.
of May and you started in February.
Yeah. So that's when I started actively looking for people. And when I found them, what I did was I had a physical ARC team and an ebook ARC team because this with my first launch, I kind of wanted to go all out.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so I made like chat groups for each, and yet I just kept them updated along the way. Immediately, everyone was friends with each other, which I think in itself is phenomenal.
Yes.
um, and I didn't send the ebook links until I want to say it was like April 29, so a little bit less than a month in advance. The physical arcs went out around like April 10th, like that week, just because of shipping time. But I figured the more time I give them, the better, because they're busy. Readers have
Yeah.
arcs and beta reads and their own like TBR. So I
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna give you as much time as possible.
Mhm.
I don't want to bombard you last minute because then it's like they're pressured, and I don't want them to feel like they had to rush through the story.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
And some of them are readers. Like I sent 30,000 pages to my beta. Oh gosh, what's today? Thursday. I sent it to her Monday night. Chica already has it turned around with comments, notes, delete, add, explain. And I thought, okay, that's 30,000 words in like 3 days.
Wow, that's super impressive. Super
Yeah.
impressive.
So I understand, you have to because yeah, life is lifing. for a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people. And then, you have to be cognizant of their reading pace.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So how many total arcs people did you have, like numbers? Because I had heard that, if you get like 25% that leave a review, you're like phenomenal. Anything 25.
Yeah.
And, we always think like 25%, you
Mm-hmm.
75 did not review it. It's kind of a high number, but really not.
Yeah. Yeah. I sent out a total of 75.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, so they're still trickling in. I did give them a deadline. There was a couple bumps along the way after I sent them out, so I did have to extend it. So, I'm just like, with my teams, I understand life happens. As long as you keep me updated, we're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Now,
they're coming in.
do you have a virtual assistant to help you, or is this all you in addition to writing and editing
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it's on me. It's on me. I wish I could afford it, honestly. Being an indie author is very pricey.
yeah.
And I'm hoping maybe I could be there one day, but right now I'm not.
Well, I know you had posted Forever Crushed, right? Forever
Hmm.
Crushed is
Hmm.
coming out in October.
Yes.
So, do you feel like this blueprint you set up is something that works and you'll then run the same thing for that release?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I say it all the time. I'm hoping a lot of my mistakes and bumps along the road with Symbol of Hope taught me lessons and, little tricks for Forever Crushed. I feel like I finally have a good editing team. I already have some solid arc readers who want to return, which I think is great. It's been beta read, kind of alpha read. I didn't know the difference until just recently. Uh,
Okay, why don't
but
you tell the difference
yeah,
for everybody that's listening?
yeah.
Because that always
Um,
is helpful.
so as long as I understand the correct way, an alpha read takes place before like any official edits happen. So you kind of give it to your reader and you're like, what do you think works? What do you think doesn't work? What can I do to fix this or to flesh this out? Before it goes into like a dev or a line edit.
Yeah.
Whereas a beta read is, this is the finished product I'm giving you. I want you to react to it the way it is and tell me again what works, what doesn't work, so I can adjust it before I publish it to the world.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
It
um,
is. And
yeah.
the thing about it is, I've had developmental editors. I have two. One is phenomenal. I mean, my gosh, she catches every little thing imaginable. But she's busy. Like she's booked. Let's see,
Mm.
we're June. I think her first opening is like November.
Oh
I know.
wow. Yeah.
So
It's
really like your best
busy.
team. And so that's where like I lean heavy on, I have four betas, but to use your term, they're really like my alphas.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it can be interchangeable. I like with Forever Crushed when I was asking for betas, I was like, heads up, it's not edited.
Oh,
I just want you to react to the story. And I feel like they were great and they reacted and their reactions were perfect. And the one beta, I adore her so much. She's in this chat. And um, she really helped me mold it because there was a part in the book that, it needed help.
yeah.
And I didn't know it needed help until she read it. And she was like, Amber, this is a problem. um, so, she tore it up, like in the best way possible. Like,
But
and
don't
I
you
feel
love
like,
that? I have one
yeah, yeah,
beta. She is brutal. She's
yeah,
brutal and she's cruel, and I love her.
yes,
And then I have
yes,
another one who tells me exactly what I want to hear. And I was like, girl, you're my hype girl. You're not my
yeah.
beta. You're not.
Tell me what's wrong.
And she wrote, she's like, oh my God, I love it. I'm
Yeah.
like,
But after she did that, I was able to really look at it and be like, oh yeah, this is a problem. So I had to delete like a good, oh gosh, it was like 10 or 15,000 words, but then I was able to revamp it and I was like, this is it. Like this is where it's supposed to be.
mhm.
And I was absolutely thrilled with the way it turned out. So it's going to developmental and line editing. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking too much. It's going to like the editing world in July, and I'm hoping it's at a point where it doesn't need too much work for like the development and the story. But again, it's a never-ending like cycle, so it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
Oh my gosh, I think stories you can write and rewrite and edit like to the death. And so I have a friend, she has published like 20 novels. I mean, she's, professional big time. And she's like, when you absolutely hate your book and you can't go through it one more time, she goes, then it's ready to publish.
Yeah. That's perfect. That's great.
And I was like,
I can't read this anymore.
Up.
Yeah.
So Forever Crush then is totally done for this draft, and you've already passed it through betas, and you're sending it to your dev editor in July.
Yes. So then,
So then walk us through, because I know there was a question on here about, when you call up your art team. So if that goes to dev in July, what's your time frame? August is what? September is what? October's release, obviously.
Yeah. So this might be a little bit more of a time crunch. Depending on October is like, that's my dream goal. If it can't do October, like that's why I tend to not really like announce official release dates because I get super antsy about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So after the dev edit, I'm gonna dive into it and add what I need to add, remove what I need to remove, and then send it back to her for the line edit. And then again, same role, add what I need to add, remove what I need to remove. I'm hoping it doesn't take me too long because I kind of got a system with Symbol of Hope. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to do a physical ARC team this year solely because it's expensive.
It is.
And with the timeline, so I'm not sure. So I feel like with the ebook team, it could go faster. I could be like a month before, release everything in September, but it depends on how long it takes me to get all those edits done because it is timely.
Oh my gosh, I lose so much time with edits. I just am like, girl, I got this. I can whip this out in a week. Oh my gosh, that's a lie.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Yeah.
And it depends on, like you said, some of them are like, if you have to dump 10 to 15,000 words like you did with Symbol of Hope, I mean, woo, that one sends you reeling. So you have to deal with it like emotionally because those are your words.
Yeah.
And then once you grapple with it, and I think like deal with it emotionally, then you have to get your brain around like, okay, well, if that doesn't work, what direction am I taking it? And so it's a lot of, I feel like, mental activity before you actually like fingers to keyboard.
Absolutely. And I don't know about you, but when I write, like it's always unplanned. Like I may have certain like key points I want to hit, but I don't know for sure until my fingers go to the keyboard and the characters tell me what to do. Scenes will play out rapidly, and I don't tend to write them until they're like perfected. So like I'll be sitting on my computer for like 2 hours. 30 of those minutes could be actual writing. So it is like a mental workout.
It is, because just a lot of things too is when you leave off a scene. So if you're in one writing session, power off or close your laptop, whatever your technology is. And then when you come back to it, whatever that days or weeks or whatever it is later, you kind of have to go back and read through and be like, what is this tone, the scene, where am I at?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, where did I leave off?
Yeah. E.B. Slayer said the characters tell me what to do too. I love that because I feel like, I think that was Stephen King who said that's the magic. Yeah. When you literally sit down and then your characters start to walk across the page and you're literally just dictating what they're telling.
Yeah. I used to think there was like something wrong with me when I would say, oh, the characters want this, or the characters want that. It's like the second that they're able to make their own decisions and to form their own story, it's so wonderful. And the feeling is, it's like addictive because you're like, yes. Tell me
Okay, so
more, tell me everything.
I have a friend who's kind of like a surprise beta. It's so strange. He's like an older man and he reads my stories, my romance, and he's this like really brilliant engineer. He has too many degrees to even count. And so he reads my stuff. And so I told him, I said, look, and I said, I was so shocked because in this part, I didn't even expect her to do that. And she just went off the rails and she took, she went to this truck stop and he's like, but you wrote this, right? Like you didn't AI because he
Yeah.
worked for an AI company. He goes, AI didn't write it. And I said, no, AI didn't write it. So he totally couldn't get what I was saying. He thought I was nuts because he's like, what do you mean? It's in your head. She's in your head. She's, a fabrication. I was like, okay, well, maybe I should only say this in front of like other writers.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I think I need to talk to other writers about this because they'll get it, and you don't feel that sense of comfort until someone else resonates with it. You're like, okay.
Yeah. So she said, Evie said, that also means you really know your characters too.
Yeah.
And that is true, Evie, because I wrote a character. He's like a lovely little cinnamon roll side character. And I wrote it. I went out I think I had like picked the car line or maybe walked the dog or something like that. And I had gotten around to the corner and I was like, he wouldn't talk like that. That's awfully harsh for him. So I knew I had to go back and rewrite it because my little cinnamon roll side character is not mean.
Yeah. 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 I think, we all have that connection to a certain character. Like in Forever Crushed, I adore the side character. Everyone tells me she's going to steal the spotlight, and I'm like, okay, but that's a problem right now. She can't be stealing the spotlight. But the moment like I embody her, she's just a blast to write, and it's because you form this idea in your head of who she's supposed to be,
Yeah.
and then they become that, and the moment they take it, it's just great and so fun.
Or, okay, I have two questions. So, one, isn't it wonderful when your reader sends you something that is like your character?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I had someone do that to me. She's like, "This is what Danny would do." Or, like I had one who my character always takes jet black coffee, and her love interest makes what she calls a fussy little cup of coffee. It's a chemistry over there. And so my reader had sent a cup of coffee, like her and her husband had their two mugs together, and she said, I am Tomlin and he is Danny. My characters. And I thought, oh,
Yeah.
I was like getting
Yeah.
teary-eyed.
Yeah.
So
It's
do
so
you
great.
don't you love it when they do that? They
Yeah.
know exactly what your character is.
Absolutely. I had someone today, they were like, me and Alana would be best friends because we have a thing for daggers, or because, we have the same like thought process. And I was like, I really appreciate that
Yeah.
because it makes them so real. And,
Yeah.
that's what we strive for. We want people to connect to our characters and have them live in their heads because they've been in ours for so long. It's just nice.
Well, compliments to you though, because that means you're writing really well-rounded, relatable
Yeah.
characters. Yeah,
Yes. Thank you.
that's exactly what you said. It means your characters made an impression on them.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a wonderful feeling. It really is.
So my second question is if she is this really cool side character
Yeah.
and you love writing her and she's kind of like her own really strong
Mhm.
personality, is she going to get her own book? Would Forever Crush end up being a series and she'll be the next book?
Yeah. So, Forever Crush is turning into a standalone series. It's the title I'm working with is like the Forever series.
Okay.
I actually started writing her story, and I will tell you that it has been a blast so far. I have to be careful because when I get really into writing, I tend to go, go,
Yeah.
go until I burn out, and then I don't write for weeks. So I'm trying to really focus on, okay, maybe let's only do 1,000 words and just, do a little mental check after that. I don't know how much I wrote today, but I was like, at a certain point, I need to put this down. Because even though I'm having fun, it's very draining at the same time.
No, I love that boundaries, because
Yeah.
burnout is real. And when burnout happens, I feel like writer's block happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then the inner critic, where you're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
crap. No
That's
one's
what,
ever going to like
yeah.
it. I
And
should
the
never.
imposter syndrome comes up and it just puts you in a darker
Boom,
place.
boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom.
Yeah.
All.
It can get dark really fast.
But, I think that's wonderful that you're setting boundaries, because I do talk to a lot of authors and some don't,
Yeah.
especially the full-time ones. Now, I've noticed that the ones that are part-time, because they have a full-time job and they have kids and they have a husband,
Yeah.
life forces them to walk away from their story. But the
Mm-hmm.
full-time ones, where like the shop is always open,
Mm-hmm.
that's where
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
mental health and boundaries are a challenge.
Yeah. It took me a while to get there, when I picked up Symbol of Hope for the first time last June, I was writing all day, just go until I hit that dark spot. Sorry, my phone. I don't know if anything happened on my screen.
It's like,
Yeah, I got a little warning for the power, so I have to charge it. So yeah, burnout's real, and a lot of dark things can appear in burnout. So it took trial and error, but I think it's really important to step back after a certain word count or a certain page count. Take a break if you have to. Because like, just speaking from experience, it can get ugly. And you don't want to do that to yourself.
aww.
There we go.
Okay, so on Symbol of Hope, how long did it take you to write it? Like, when did you start? When were you done? How long?
Yeah, so I actually like the idea of it originated when I was in 8th grade, which was about 15 years ago.
Mhm.
I didn't start writing it until I was in 12th grade. I don't want to see that manuscript come to the light ever again. um, Off and on, I would pick it up and write it. It would change every time, but I really got back into it last June. And when I finished the first draft, it was like in the middle of July, but it didn't feel right. Like, I will say that where it was, the second half is completely different. So that rewrite took some time.
Yeah.
I want to say it wasn't like done until early September.
But let me ask you this. Why now? Why this book? If it had been kind of
Yeah.
in and out of your life for different reasons, different times, how did it finally see the light of day?
Yeah, so I got back into reading in last June, and I was, as I was reading, I was like, I have this book that has been in my head for years, I felt like the characters were a part of me, and I think something just told me it was time. Like, it's weird. So I kind of, I pulled up the old manuscript. There were things I kept, things I didn't keep. I just went with it, and I just had fun with it. And I kept telling myself, I feel like my gut is telling me to do this now because these characters are finally ready and they're finally matured. Alana, all those years ago, was very dependent, and now she's very independent. So it's, they've grown as I've
Yeah.
grown. So it was just my gut. It was like, do this now, because if you don't, it'll probably never happen. And I just went with it, and it's been an adventure.
Oh, I always think, I'm a Christian, so to me that's divine downloads. When you get
Yeah.
those whispers and
Mm-hmm.
nudges, like,
Yeah.
not to get all religious-y, but
Mm-hmm.
like, God doesn't send me burning bushes in the front yard, even though sometimes I want.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's nudges where like things are right or it's the right time. I just feel that that's when we step into it. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously it was meant to be for you, because look at how beautiful this debut has been.
Yeah.
I mean, you would have
Yeah.
missed out on such a beautiful, wonderful journey. I mean, granted, it was hard and arduous. You probably like cried and you're just like, you wanted to quit a million times.
Thousands.
But you didn't. And what a beautiful, beautiful reward.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm not like personally like religious, you know, but I do think there's something,
Yeah.
and that something was like, do this.
Yeah. Because I think one of the things is we're not meant to die with our music inside.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
your version of music. I think
Yeah.
that's what all those nudges were. It's just like, get on because you're delaying this beautiful future.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's been great
Yeah.
so
And
far.
Symbol of Hope becomes the Forever series. And like after that, who knows?
There isn't after that. It's very exciting.
And that's the thing, because
Yeah.
you think like there is 75 people that wanted to read my arcs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some authors that don't even know 75 people. And you
Yeah.
have 75 people, strangers that are interested in your story. That's phenomenal.
Yeah. And it's even better that they wanted to stick around for the next one. I was like, okay, I must be doing something right.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Why romance? Are all of them going to be in the romance genre?
Um, I'm very much kind of just like, I'll write what I feel like writing.
Mm-hmm.
So Forever Crushed is very romance. After Forever Crushed, I have a novel coming out called The Academy Games. That's romance with a mental health wrap. After that, I don't know, but there is a story that another story I've had in my head forever that's more on the investigative kind of side. So it's more fiction and kind of darker.
Like a
Which I would,
mystery or a thriller? Maybe suspense?
maybe it's hard to say. It's more of like, I would have to describe it. So it revolves around a girl who was in a relationship online as a young girl, you know, was kind of catfished and groomed by an older man. So it goes down that track, and then it time jumps, and she finds herself in this field of trying to catch men who did this to her and prevent them from doing it to other children.
Oh.
And it takes, you know, a crazy twist in the middle. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's like murder mystery, because I don't think anybody will die.
But definitely suspense.
Suspense,
The
yeah.
thriller depends on how you end it.
Yeah. So that's another story I've been playing with, and I've been toying with the idea of picking it up. But at this point, I have so many things on my plate. I'm like, I see you, but I'm going to put you right here for now.
But you know, that is a really cool plot because it's so relevant nowadays.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah. It's sad. It's dark. The fact that it's happening is a problem.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I know. As I raise kids, I'm always just like, I feel like everyone's guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah. I'm watching you.
Exactly. Okay, so if you're doing the Forever series, and you said they're standalone series, so how many do you think will be in that?
Right now I'm feeling about a total of 3, but again, I don't know who else is going to pop up. So it could expand, which will be interesting because, you know, it is right now a college romance. So if it expands past that, it would be great. I don't know yet.
Okay, so there's an author, her name escapes me, but she does vampire college. Okay, so she does college, right? Everybody's in college, but then there's a group that are vampires. And so, like, you know, let's just say they go to, I don't know, Duke University.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's all these normal people, or like non-vampires, and then this cluster of vampires. And she has, I think, like 12 books out.
Oh, wow.
Because what happens, and this was going to ask you, you know, you have your main character, And are your other two books in that series, side characters for the main one?
So I think they definitely started as side characters, but then they turned into main characters
For their own book.
for their own book. Yes.
Yeah, that's how hers started. So as
Okay.
then when she got into book 2, that side character who became the main character, like they have a past boyfriend or they have this bestie or something. And so the universe got a little bit bigger and a little bit different because there's different players. And so I marvel. I was like, man, how did she have like 12 vampire books?
Yeah, that's impressive.
It is. I think hers are like 60 to 80,000. So like not all of them are 80,000.
Yeah.
Some of them are shorter.
Yeah. Okay.
But she plays in that universe for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if the world is growing and she doesn't see a stop to it, keep going.
That could be you.
Yeah, which would be great. I adore these set of characters. I love them so much. I in no means think I'm funny, but they're hilarious. So I don't know where that's coming from. I really can't wait for everyone to meet them. It's going to be a blast.
Amber, that's the magic we talked about. We don't know where
yeah.
So are any of the Symbol of Hope characters, would that ever become a standalone series? Or is that done for now for a while?
I do believe it's getting a spinoff. Alden deserves to have his story told. I already have a title. It came to me, and that's how I knew it had to happen because I'm really bad at titles. I don't necessarily have like a timeline, and I don't want to go in, just head first because I feel like his story is going to be heavy. So I want to make sure I give him and his story the attention it deserves. And if that happens, later on or in 2025, I don't know. I just kind of go with the flow. And I say a lot when he's ready to have his story told, he'll tell me. And then I'll just do it.
Well, do you think that you'll marinate on that story?
Yeah. I think I know where it should start. I just need to figure out where it should end because I don't want to overlap some like Alana's story either because then it'll be a lot of repeat.
Right.
So I need to figure out the timeline.
Like a prequel or like a epilogue, I guess.
Yeah. It'll
Yeah.
be because it Symbol of Hope takes place, the prologue and then a 10-year jump.
Yeah.
His story is going to be like the prologue and then what happens within those 10 years that Symbol of Hope jumped over. I don't know. I might even do a story for Alana, what happened in those 10 years. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
But have your readers asked for that? I'm sure. They want more of them.
Yeah, I've been asked about Alden. And I was like, and I told them, I was like, it's not official yet, but I am marinating over it, like you said. I did have someone say, I wanted to see what happened with Alana within those 10 years. And I was like, okay, that could be a whole nother book. That could have added 100 some more pages to it. So again, I think it'll happen when it needs to happen. It might not necessarily be 80,000 words, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with it.
Don't you love that where they do ask and they want more of your character?
Yeah, I'm like, yes.
It's a blessing and a curse because you're like, yeah, I would love to give you more. And then when you are not on and you're sitting laying in bed, you're like, what would that more be?
Yeah, what is it?
To do justice to it. And so, and then to, back into the prologue.
Yeah. I mean, I've had people ask, is there going to be a sequel? And I'm like, I don't know. What would it be?
Is there?
I don't know. I've also toyed with the idea of, I can't say it because it spoils the ending. So I guess you'll have to read it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what are the things that is the toughest for you about the author journey writing what is the easiest for you?
Um, the toughest is
Toughest.
the toughest is the imposter
Mhm.
syndrome. It's a never ending battle. I ended up going back into therapy because of it. When you're writing, a lot of things come up, things you thought you bottled down or were resolved. Um, but writing's very emotional and you're pouring part of yourself into it. And you may not realize there are things that are in your journey go into the book. So I had a lot of things surface and it was a mix. I want to say of the imposter syndrome and, a rising level of, okay, I'm starting to remember things. Um, so it's a battle, but it's definitely getting better. I wouldn't let it, I wouldn't say, stop writing if it happens. Roll through it,
Yeah.
seek advice, talk to other writers because everyone goes through it, you know. Um, the best part is,
See a question though right
yeah.
there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I feel so. I'll relate to you. I have I have 10 novels that I have written that will probably never see the light of day, and I wrote
Mhm.
them through some of the saddest, darkest times of my life
Yeah,
because they are
yeah.
cathartic, right? And it has
Hmm.
nothing to do with what like the people and players are different, the situation's different, but whoo, those feelings are the same.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I have my children know about them. And so my daughter's like, why don't you pick one, out of the vault?
Yeah. You
No,
got a ball.
you got a
Yeah.
vault. But it does when I even just open that Word document, I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, those feelings
They
come
come back.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
I think though that when we write, because you do, maybe that's why you weren't ready to publish Symbol of Hope when you were in 12th grade, because in
Yeah.
12th grade, you hadn't taken so many hits. Maybe you
Yeah.
had your heart broken, but now, you said what, 15 years later, 10 years, 12, some, you've
Yeah.
taken some hits.
Hmm.
And don't you feel like therapy is
Oh,
wonderful,
it's
but
yeah. It's
that you're meant to bring that up for two reasons. It's meant to come up so you can heal your soul,
mhm.
but it's also meant to come up to make you like a more richer, experienced writer, to like
Yeah.
infuse that into your words.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. When I was in 12th grade, I was very sick,
Mhm.
physically and mentally. So it was always a struggle. So I
Yeah.
used writing as a means of escape. Um, and I think I wasn't ready. I mean, one, I was absolutely terrified. The
Yeah.
thought of someone reading it is just out of the question. I don't want to get, bombarded with all these terrible reviews.
Well,
And
it's
I
soul
really,
bearing.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
very, very
yeah.
extremely vulnerable to do
Hmm.
that. Hmm.
Yeah, like you really have to build yourself up to it.
Yeah.
Even when I picked it back up in college, I was like, I can't do this. It's like the idea of more of people reading it is like, hell no, no way. But as I was going through those, I was going through my own experiences and I was growing, and therefore my main character was growing.
Yeah.
So I really think she was ready to have her story told because I healed up to the point where I was ready to share it.
Hmm.
So,
And I think that imposter syndrome, I mean, it hits everybody. Like, and it's so
mhm.
strange because I feel like there's these, cyber cowboys that just, they'll write whatever, the most hateful.
Yeah,
And you're thinking, like, why do you have such hate in your heart to just
yeah,
then go and spew that on to people,
hmm, yeah,
I think that exacerbates the imposter syndrome. It literally, like, feeds it.
absolutely. It really does.
Horrible.
Yeah, it really does. It's really good to like circle yourself with people who are going to support you through it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I, when I made my Instagram, I wasn't expecting to fall into the community that I did.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy I did because everyone is so supportive and they're always so excited when I share news with them. And it's weird because I guess I'm not used to that. The way I grew up, I was kind of always like not pushed down, but we all have our experience, our trauma, and
Oh yeah.
I won't turn this into a therapy session, but it was just weird because my excitement turned into their excitement, and I was like, whoa. So it's to this day, I'm still like blown away by the support.
I totally agree with you because I'm one of four sisters, and I have one who cares. The rest are like they don't care. Let me tell
Yeah.
you, they were never going to care. My books, I could put out 20, I could have them turned into a movie. They're still not going to read them, right?
Right.
And that doesn't bother me. It's just not their thing.
Yeah.
But also, but then so I know not to. That's a dry well, right?
Yeah.
When you get on Bookstagram and you meet like people that you're equally yoked with, you're like, oh my God, this is what it's like.
Yeah, it's like this
And
is what that is.
it's so exciting, and it just makes you just feel so warm because you're like, this is my people.
Yeah.
Like this is where I'm meant to hang out. These are the people that I love. And they're strangers, just people all over the world, and you're just like, finally.
Yeah. These are my people. This is my group. This is fantastic. I got lucky with my sisters. We weren't always close, growing up. Or just recently our relationship snapped and we became closer. They helped me pack the physical art boxes. I worked them all day. I was like, you're packing these boxes with me. They read my book. They listen to me when I have, to rant and complain. It's really nice, and I can relate back to when I didn't have that. So it just makes me grateful that I have it now because I think I needed it then, but I need it more now,
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah. My sister that's closest to me, she's my ride or die. She doesn't ask any questions at all. I'll call her. I'm like, I'm thinking of putting like a naked man on the cover. She's like, you should put a naked man on the cover. Naked man's always sell. And I told her, I said, but this, the trend right now is not naked, or I shouldn't say naked. Shirtless men. And I said, but the trend is illustrated cover. She's like, she was, do you want to do an illustrated cover? I said, no, I want like a hot guy on the cover. Let's do a hot guy on the cover.
Yeah. And thank you, Cassie. I'm really the fact that everyone loved the boxes is just so exciting. I still get very happy about that. I will say with the illustrated covers, I found the most amazing artist, and she made the character art for Symbol of Hope, and we're going to work together for the cover for Forever Crush, and I'm just super excited to see where it goes and how she creates it. There are things that are happening. I'm just like, I can't wait to share. Yeah.
No, there's who is in our author group? Stella Stevenson.
Yeah.
She does illustrated covers. Those covers are so stinking cute. I freaking love them.
Gorgeous.
They're
gorgeous. Yeah.
And so I love her illustrated covers, but kind of like you have that book that you said like in 2025 that's really dark theme.
Yeah.
Mine are super dark, like content warnings galore everywhere. And so when someone says something, I'm like, did you read the content?
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, Evie, your sister sounds amazing. Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're great.
Art is so beautiful.
I have to pop out a frame to plug my phone in real quick. I want to just 1 second.
Can I ask you a question while you're doing that?
Absolutely.
Do you have a sample box so we could see it, or did they all go out?
So they pretty much all went out, but there are some things I still have. So I could absolutely share those.
Yeah, let's share them.
I could put my husband to work real quick. Let me
Oh, hubby.
So I have the book here. Anthony, do you see the character art on the table? Do you see 3 of them? You see one? Oh boy. Okay. Let me move right back.
Okay.
Nothing fell.
Evie,
Oh,
do you
there's one at your
see
feet.
that your book is coming out at the end of the month, end of June? I think I saw that. I went too fast.
Where's the other one? Oh, I have these. I can do these. It's not on the paper, but that's okay. Okay. Sorry if you saw my pajama pants. So
Evie has hers. I asked her a question. June 23rd, my debut novel is coming out. I'm terrified. Evie, DM me so I can help you, promote it through my stories and however I can help you.
Yeah, me too. My DMs are always open. I tell people to message me all the time.
Okay, go ahead. You have character art?
Yeah, so I have character art. I couldn't find the one on the paper that was used, but I have the photo. So this is Alana.
Oh, wow.
Isn't she so pretty?
Now, did you design that or do you have a designer?
So I told the artist what I was looking for,
Yeah.
and she kind of just rolled with it.
Nice.
And phenomenal the entire time. This is my favorite one.
Man, I love that.
So that's Alana and Alden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and their little library.
So what is that? Did that go in the boxes?
Yes. These went in the boxes, and what I did was I put them in envelopes, and I was like, oh, open on page, blah, 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 just because people like things to open.
Yeah.
And then there's one more. It's this one. So this is Alana and Darian.
Oh, I like it. That's
cool. Yeah. So I'm super excited to see what she does with Forever Crushed. I also had candles made from Cheerful Living. So it's for Alden.
That's so cool. So Cheerful Living, is she on, is that person on Instagram?
She's on Instagram and Etsy. She was actually, I don't know if I can say it, but we were debating on making these live so people can buy them because they smell really good.
I was going to ask. Does she pick the scent or do you work?
I described what I thought he would smell like. And she was like, okay, this is what I can do. This will what'll work together. So it's eucalyptus, tonka bean, and musk. And it's it's very good.
Gosh, I'd have to have my own closet and be like, look at my writer candles.
Yeah.
You light them when you write?
It's so potent. You could put it in front of like a fan. You don't even have to light it, and the smell just comes at you. And I'm afraid to light it because I don't want it to disappear.
Yeah, I have a whole closet full.
Mm-hmm.
He asked, what is her name again?
Oh, so it's Cheerful Living.
On Instagram and Etsy.
On Instagram and Etsy.
Cool.
Yeah, she's so nice. She's so fantastic. I love her.
Okay, so we were talking about the toughest parts, and you were talking about imposter.
Yeah.
So what is the joy? What's the fun part?
Sitting in front of your computer, and I enjoy just playing scenes in my head and then watching them come to life on the page. I'm very much like, perfect it, write it down. I could daydream about a scene all day and never get tired of it.
Can you do that with dialogue too? Like, do you do the whole scene, like setting and dialogue and all of it?
Yeah, I do. I adore dialogue. Like, I know some authors hate dialogue. I will just have pages of dialogue just because I think it's so much fun. And I feel like that's how the characters, they come to life. So I think about what they're going to say, if it fits that, their personality. When I think of something really funny in my terms, I'll write it down so I don't forget it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the wonderful part, is just watching it come to life.
No, I totally agree. I'm dialogue heavy, and I got a
Hmm.
review. I don't remember what the star was, but I don't think it was a positive one. She's like, this writer is dialogue heavy. And I'm like, of
That's a
course.
good thing.
Well, because
Yeah.
in life, I only write single POV because in life, I don't get to know what you know and that one and that one. That, it's like that's the
Right.
perspective of life. Like, and we have flawed points of view. We only know
Yeah.
the information we know.
Hmm.
So we make decisions and act according to that. And
Right.
so, sometimes you get it wrong, or sometimes your character goes
Yeah.
the wrong way. And so I'm one of those where like my character will think one thing, say another.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Symbol of Hope is single POV, but Forever Crushed was
Yeah.
dual. So that was my first time, and I just thought it was so cool to see, okay, this is what the female main character thought and said, and then snapshot to the main male character, this is how he reacted to it, which I think is fun.
Yeah.
But it's different too, because then you become two people. So it can be a juggle.
It is a juggle because some of these people that have 4 or 6 POVs, I'm like, my gosh, how do you keep that
I don't know how they
straight?
do it.
I know.
Yeah.
I marvel at that.
Yeah, I feel like
Um,
two is a good happy number.
Evie says so much can get revealed from dialogue. I think
Yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
true. I love
Yeah.
dialogue. I know,
Hmm.
like, I think like Dean Koontz has like pages and pages and pages of just description and narrative and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's like, okay.
yeah, we get it. We get
Get to the
it.
good stuff. I want the juicy bits.
Exactly. Okay, so I know we're past our time. Do you have a little bit more time to do rapid fire questions?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, paperback or e-reader?
E-reader.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
What did she say? Oh, so much gets revealed. When it's more than 3, I get lost. I have 5 authors.
Oh, girl.
Girl,
I
okay,
applaud you.
we need to have her on here
Yeah.
and her tips and
Tell us how.
we need a master class.
Yeah, we really do.
Okay, plotting or pantsing?
Oh, pantsing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First person or third person?
First.
Plot driven or character driven?
Character.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I'm
Mhm.
the same. Writing alone, writing with a partner, or writing in sprints?
Ooh, I'm an alone writer.
Do you write with
Yeah.
music or in silence?
Music.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice. Because it sets the
Mhm.
tone, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. And depending on what you're writing, you listen to different
totally.
things. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, mine tends like if it's going to be like dark or gory or something like my first
Yeah.
novel was romantic suspense. I listen to a lot of heavy instrumental
Hmm.
because it does set its mood
Yeah.
to make it
Yeah.
more.
Like with the Academy Games, it's very magical. So I was listening to like these magical playlists on YouTube, like studying in the library in a haunted academia, and it really gets you in the setting. It's just great. You can find so much on YouTube.
Well, do you have a playlist then that you have on your website for each of your books?
I do have a playlist for Symbol of
Mhm.
Hope. It's on Spotify. I do need to add it to my website, but
Yeah.
it's also in my link tree. Forever Crushed will have a playlist. I just haven't curated it yet. It's getting there.
Yeah, she listens to fantasy music on Spotify. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
It's
Hmm.
awesome.
So good.
Okay, outline or discovery writing.
Discovery.
Writing with a deadline or at your own pace.
My own pace.
Series or standalones. Kind of both.
Yeah, it's kind of both.
Historical setting, present day or future.
Um, Typically present day, except for Symbol of Hope. That's more Regency though.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is. Well, it has been a very fast hour with you. I have had,
Yeah.
you're so wonderful. I would
Oh,
love to
thank
have
you.
you back.
Yeah,
When
absolutely.
because I feel like we just scratched the surface of it.
Yeah, yeah. I would absolutely come back on here. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and see, you have nothing to be nervous about. We'll do this
No,
again.
no. I was like, lots of deep breaths.
Well, it is nerve-wracking when, so it's like out of our comfort zone, but I try to make it
Yeah.
really like, just two friends chit-chatting
Yeah.
coffee.
Yeah, yeah, you're so easy to talk to, and the chat was so nice.
Thank you. I
It's a
really
good
just
night.
enjoy meeting other authors and bookstagrammers. I just love our community. But
Yeah.
I will reach out to you again and we'll schedule when you get closer to Forever Crush coming out. We'll connect.
Yeah, yeah. Lots of good stuff.
All
Sounds
right. You have a
good.
wonderful summer and
You
I will
too.
DM you.
Thank you. All right, talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.